From Windsor, Ontario, Canada, it's Remotely Zach with Zachary Thomas. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Thomas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am your host, everybody's favorite, Zachary Thomas. Thank you so much for being here. We got a great show for you today. Journalist and educator Veronique Mandal is here. She'll be talking about her career, very extensive career. And we'll also be taking a look at the dankest memes found on the internet in Memed. But first, news. The news. Starting off, it was just announced this week that the Trump Organization has been indicted on tax fraud. And the company's chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, I didn't know who he was either, turned himself into a New York courtroom. I was hoping he was going to flip, but I always thought he was a flop. But then again, why can't it be Eric? So this man would rather go to prison at 74 than turn on Trump. Wow. And I thought Lindsey Graham was the biggest Trump ass kisser. I didn't really get to talk about Joe Biden's infrastructure press conference last week, so I will now. Joe Biden talked about his infrastructure deal, however, was in a weird format, also known as whispering. Take a look.
People are waiting for relief. $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. A lot has been happened already, number one. Number two, I'm going to fight like heck to get them the rest of what I think has to be done. I'm going to be going around the country, spending time making the case to the American people that this just isn't about showing an identification that this is who I am when I vote. This isn't just about whether or not, you can provide water for someone standing in line while they're waiting to vote. This is about who gets to judge whether your vote counted after it's been cast. Think about it. Don't dismiss it at all. Just remind them, I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now.
Creepy. Sounds like the creepy uncle at Thanksgiving. How's the stuffing? That's nice. Biden has an indoor voice, unlike the last guy. It's all about me, 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 me. Hey, dipshit, get over here. Honest question. Who has the vagina tunnel? Well, model Carla Delevingne does, and it could be the start of something new. According to The Guardian, Delevingne and her architect Nicolo Bini were inspired by Alice in Wonderland. But this is more like a vulval version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Could Delevingne do for vulvas what she did for eyebrows? Make them big and make them everywhere? All I hear from that is a hairy vagina. There has been a move in recent years towards embracing the veggies. This includes Rashima Chibia's art installation in a former women's prison where she created a walk-in vagina installation. In 2011, the British artist Jamie McCartney exhibited his Great Wall of Vaginas piece, for which he cast more than 400 women's genitalia. Yeah, it looks like a neat spot. I guess the more people inside your vagina, the better. According to Yahoo News, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem announced Tuesday that she was deploying 50 members of the National Guard to Texas to help with what she called a national crisis at the southern border. Yep, apparently the governor's head is just as empty as her state. Is Mexico really the border, though? That's the thing. Is Mexico really the border you want to send these troops into? Last thing I heard, Canadians were going to come in on Mooseback with a cannon full of maple syrup. Ah, maple syrup everywhere, eh? Bill Cosby was released from prison Wednesday after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his indictment, or his sexual assault conviction. say it ain't so. But NBC News reports that the state of Pennsylvania's highest court tossed out Cosby's conviction as a result of an agreement he had with a former prosecutor that would have prevented Cosby from being criminally charged in the case. No! We're supposed to free Britney, not Bill Cosby. Oh well, we went from America's dad to America's pervy grandpa. The ruling bars any retrial in the case, court documents say. The 83-year-old comedian had served 2 years into a 3 to 10 year prison term. And it was also reported that he may be in the hunt for a job. Might I suggest bartender? We'll be right back with more Remotely Zach right after this, so please stay with us. We got Veronique Mandal, and we'll be back with Memed. Stay with us. Stay there, please. Just stay there. Buddy, welcome back. It's that part of the show where I read the dankest memes found on the internet. That's right, it's time for Memed. All right, this first one, I swear, has to be the theme of quarantine, or the quarantine theme, so to speak. I just asked myself if I'm crazy, and we all said no. Am I crazy? Nay. I guess that settles it. I guess it does. I guess it really does. All right, we're gonna try not to fuck this one up. The older I get, the more I have in common with computers. We both start out with lots of memory and drive. Then we become outdated, crash unexpectedly, and eventually have to have our parts replaced. See, the older I get, I hope that's not the case. What was that? Oh, I just broke my leg. Oh, it happens all the time. But you should see my sister Margaret. She getting everything taken out of her. So this one, I swear to God, every time I try to get my picture taken, I don't always pose for pictures. But when I do, I make sure I give a constipated smile. Take the picture. Gosh, shit, man. Come on. All right. I mean, I think we've all been here. Well, not exactly in this situation. I hope not. But I mean, you screw up on your first day, and it's just a mess. Fired on his first day just because he accidentally put his pants on backwards. Ooh, that's rough. That one's rough. That one's a little. Oh, I mean, come on. I mean, how low? I mean, come on, man. All right, here we go. Last one, finally. Let's see who's really behind COVID-19. That's all the time we got for Memed. Remember, if you have meme suggestions, actually I'd like to see them. Please send them to me somehow. We'll be right back. So thank you for joining us. My guest today is a journalist, nurse, talk show host, and more. She's currently the head of the St. Clair College Journalism and Media Convergence programs, and she is Veronique Mandal. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure, Zach.
So I guess the first question, you've had so many jobs, like I said, from nurse to playwright to journalist. Why so many jobs, and did you love working that much?
Well, I could never make up my mind what I really wanted to do. And so when I was a little girl, I made a list of all the things that I wanted to be when I grew up. And I started ticking off the list. And so I think I'm on about job 8. So, and I mean, sometimes you sort of wonder, when I was working in the theater in England, I had so many friends. And when I left that, I left all those friends behind and moved on. And I went to nursing. And then I loved the theater. And then I thought I'd never leave it. And then I went to nursing and I thought I'd never leave that. And then I went to do radio drama, and I thought I'd never leave that. And then I went to work on the continent and doing tour guiding and things like that. And I thought, wow, I think this is what I want to do. And then I went back to nursing and thought, okay, yeah, really, this is what I want to do. But then I went to do radio and thought I'd really found it. And then I decided to go to television and thought, oh my goodness, this is it. Then I went to work in the newspaper business and thought, this is it. And then I ended up, running a journalism program, a journalism school, really, at the Mediaplex.
So is there something on that list or something you have not done that you really want to do?
Yes. Now, I've also written musicals, which is something I wanted to do. And I've written books. One became a bestseller, which was really great. So that I've done. The one thing that I want to do is movies. And I've done documentaries, but I've not done movies. And that's really what I want to do next.
So like what kind of movies? Do you have a specific genre or?
No, but I would like to take the musical that I wrote, because it's all based in Newfoundland. And I'd like to go home to Newfoundland and make the movie there of the book, of the play.
Wow.
That's where I'd like to start anyway. And then I really am interested to see if the book that I wrote, the biography of the lawyer Don Tate, I've had interest from people in one person in Hollywood, and so will sort of go somewhere, but I would really like to be involved in it, since that's the next thing on my list.
So when you look at journalism today, what do you think the biggest problem with journalism is in today's world?
They're biased. They've all decided that they are coming down on one political side. And I could weep when I listen to so many news stories, and they present them as though they're fair and balanced, and they're anything but if you start to really pay attention. And one of the things, that journalistic ethic of being fair and balanced, not biased, not taking political sides. And as you know, I've always said to my students, I really don't care where you make your mark in the ballot box. That's your conscience. And the one thing that really does concern me is the bias that I see on television, or I listen to on the radio, or that I read in the newspapers. And I think that it's really tragic. I listen to people talking about why the public doesn't trust us anymore. And so they say that, I heard this one fellow a few weeks ago talking about, we have to earn back the trust, etc. Then he started slamming any of the conservative media. There are not many of them, but those that are there, he was slamming them. So it was really clear that his idea of fair and balanced is to be anything that's not conservative, which is why people don't trust us, because all they see is bias. So, Zach, I'm really concerned about our future, because we alienate people all the time when we behave like.
So do you think there could be a part of the program or part of a specific course on kind of how to, counteract the hate that people spew at us, or is that on our own judgment?
The only way that we can earn back trust is to be truly fair and balanced, you don't only go and get one side of an issue, or you don't slant it so that the side you support sound like the good guys and the side you don't support sound like the bad guys. The public is not going to work at trusting us, and they shouldn't have to, because we should really be the stewards of information for the public. And the only way that's we're ever going to be trusted again is when they truly see a clear, fair, and balanced reporting from us. It's the only way we're going to save ourselves.
I know it is like what I've seen. It's basically, I'm not surprised that it's all coming back one-sided, because I've seen so many of that on both sides of the border.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And the other thing that has started is reporters who clearly should be fair and balanced. They go on social media and slam a political side, and then they expect that the public is going to trust anything they write or report. Who's going to trust that? So, I mean, we're the authors of our own misfortune, really. And it's clear when I see reporters who are coming down on one political side, it's clear they don't care if the public doesn't trust them or doesn't think they're fair and balanced, because you wouldn't be doing that. You know, it's one thing for columnists to have their opinion and put it out there, no matter what political side they support, and that's their job. It is not the reporter's job to be doing that.
Yeah, last time I checked, there were two sides to every story.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's not
Sometimes three.
It's not one-sided story. Yeah, the world of news is kind of a jumbled area at the current moment. That's why I'm here.
And I'm really glad you are. That's really great.
Yeah, so you're currently the program coordinator of journalism and media convergence, and you're also going to be having your hand in public relations as well. So can you give us the background of how you joined the journalism program?
Well, I had no intention really of leaving the newspaper world at the time. And, but I had just finished a very long 6 months working on a very intense and emotionally charged series on schizophrenia. And I didn't realize how much it took out of me doing that, because I immersed myself in the lives of people with schizophrenia, their families, the scientists working on new drugs and treatments, and the doctors and the social workers who help people with schizophrenia try to lead the best lives possible. And during that period, the president of St. Clair College kept asking me if I was interested in coming over to the college, because he felt that the journalism program really needed to get a reboot. And so in the end, I said I was only interested if I could just blow it up and start over. And I was being a bit flippant at the time, because I didn't really have any intentions of going over there. And but anyway, in the end, I decided that I really needed a break from the intensity of day-to-day news, and that's sort of 6 months working on that series had also sort of worn me down a bit. And because I change all the time, and because teaching was on my list, eventually I was convinced to go over to the college.
Okay, so follow-up question. What is flippant? Is that Newfie slang?
Oh, no, it's just being flippant. You know, saying it, but not really meaning it. just saying, oh yeah, I'll come over if I can blow it up and start it over again. And so in a way, I wasn't really meaning it. I mean, I meant it, that program needed to be blown up, but I didn't mean it that I'd come over.
So what is your favorite part about being program coordinator?
There are a number of aspects, but the involvement with the students is something, no matter how difficult things are going on the administrative side, no matter how things are going in the world, in my world, when I walk into that classroom, nothing else exists. The only thing is those moments when I'm there with the students. And it has really kept me in the job, the longest I've ever been in a job. And it hasn't felt like that. I mean, I was really fortunate that I was able to work with a great team and build the journalism program, the media convergence program, and the PR program, which I also coordinated for many years. And then to be able to build the Mediaplex. So all of those things were really great, but I'm really not being flippant when I say that the best part of it all was being able to be there and have that tremendous relationship with the students and to see them grow and learn. And because of the atmosphere that we created in the Mediaplex, you come in as part of a family. I think that our students grow on many levels, not just acquiring skills that allow them to be successful in their careers, but I think we hope, and I think that what we give them personally, and the commitment that we make to them personally, I think that is as important, if not more important, than the skills we give them, because I think it really helps them grow as humans. And, it's graduation is always so bittersweet because you hate to see them go out of your immediate life. And of course, most of them don't go out of our lives because they keep in touch and we help them find jobs. And we sort of send happy birthday messages to them on Facebook. And so they stay in touch that way, which kind of shows us that what we are doing at the Mediaplex really does have an impact. So that's a long answer to say that students are the most important part of it. Otherwise, why do it?
Well, yeah, that's the long answer. Well, we've reached the AM hours. So in addition to, coordinating journalism and journalism as well, you've also written books. The Pink Hat, which I believe was released back in 2012, and Getting Off a Criminal Lawyer's, it's a long title.
Road to Redemption.
Road to Redemption.
Yeah.
So what inspired those books, especially The Pink Hat? Because I'd like to know more about that one.
Well, I lived in Bermuda, and mostly based on people I knew in Bermuda. And the character had met a young Air Force pilot in Bermuda. And because, and he wanted to marry her, but because she didn't want to settle down, because she wanted to travel the world and do all kinds of things, she refused. But she always wore this iconic pink hat. And the last time they met was in a cafe. And when she got up and left him, she left her hat in the cafe, sitting on a chair. And he took that hat and he looked for her for many, many years, wherever his Air Force jobs took him, and he never found her. And eventually, his life went on. He got married and had a daughter, and his wife died. And one day he had kept that pink hat hidden in a trunk his entire life. And he'd had a quite a catastrophic heart attack. And he asked his daughter if she would find the girl who owned the hat. And then the daughter and her husband set out on that quest to find the girl.
Did they
So
find
you'd
her?
have to read it to find out the rest of it.
Well, if it's available on audio.
I
um,
haven't put it on audio yet.
let me know when you do.
I will.
There's a series of books on audios that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
So, do you have a place in your house where you go and write, or just like a quiet space, or where do you do it?
I do. What you're seeing behind me is we have 4 bedrooms in the house, and we have a guest room and our room, and then my husband and I took a bedroom each and made into our offices, because both being writers, we really needed a space, and so I really like this space. I've got lots of windows, and so it's really quite nice, and all I can see are trees. So it's calming.
All right. Well, you have a talk show in addition to everything else you've talked about and everything else you do on your TV, Windsor, called Scribes and Songsters. So can you just give us a brief kind of how that came to be, how you teamed up?
Well, a friend of mine, Brian Sweet, had wanted to put a television show like that together. And I had for a long time, I had a television show on Kojiko a few years before, and it was called Mandel's Media Mix. And so I would talk to other reporters about the news going on in the town, and in the city of Windsor and Essex County. And then I got really busy, and so I think it went for 4 or 5 years. And then when Brian approached me, I was so thrilled, because being a writer, one of the things that is always difficult for writers who live in smaller communities to get noticed, to get what you do out to the reading public. And I always thought that it would be really great to have a show where I interviewed those talented people and allowed others to hear about their work and to go out and buy and read their work. And so when Brian talked to me about this, I said, yes, absolutely. I don't care how busy I am. I think this would be so worthwhile. And it has been, we've been so lucky to showcase some of the most talented people in Windsor and Essex County. And Nino Ricci was my first guest. And of course, he's one of our best known writers. And because he's from Leamington, he came on as my first guest, and it really set the stage for us to be able to showcase a lot of very talented people, and people who write books and plays and poetry and music, scripts of all description. So it's a very sort of eclectic writing show.
Yeah, I have a million things I've written that sit on a USB that I don't know what to do with.
Well, you got to pull them out,
I suppose. Alrighty, so finally, on this show, I do a segment called 3 Questions With, where I'll ask you 3 questions. You can only pass on one, so be careful.
Okay.
So after a long day, what do you do to unwind? Like, how do you relax?
Sit and chat with my husband with a glass of wine.
That is a very good answer. So I believe you and I have talked country music before. is there somebody who you a current artist that you prefer? Or like, who's your favorite artist in that world?
I really like Blake Shelton.
Yes, very good. Very, very good. So as we mentioned, you have had many jobs. Who did you like working with the least?
There was one person now, and it wasn't bad, but there was one person at the CBC. We shall be nameless.
Oh, I thought we were getting so close. I'm like,
Yeah, well, I'm passing on that bit.
Vero spills all. But thank you for being here. It really means a lot that you were my guest this evening.
Thank you. I'm doing, and as I've said, you know, I'm always here for the students.
Well, thank you, Veronique, for being here. We'll be right back with more Remotely Zach right after this. Check out your TV Windsor for Scribes and Songsters. Everybody, welcome back. Well, that's our show for this evening. Remember, if you've made it this far, if you've made it to this exact point, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. And also, remember to like us on social media at Late Night 26 on Twitter, at Big Man Balogh on Twitter, and remember to like us on Facebook. I want to say thanks to my guest, Veronique Mandal, for joining us this evening. I'm Zach Balogh, and we'll see you next time. Same place, same time. Good night.